Yes, namaste, man. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see in the background, I'm here on my deck at my new place in Panama City Beach. It's a beautiful day at the beach, not many people out. But today, man, what I want to talk, how do you get to something like this? Like, how do we get to a position in life, like maybe you could live right there? How does that happen? This here, for me, is actually an asset. Now, I own this place, but my goal is to rent it out on Airbnb. And this, this is an investment. This is the kind of stuff you want to put your money in. But this here is probably not where you want to start. Long before we get to beach houses and all of this stuff, you got to get the buckets right. And here recently, I was on Instagram. It's pretty noisy. Let's take the stairs. I was on Instagram and we were talking about the idea of starting from zero. Now, what you got to do when you're starting at zero is focus on the buckets. Now, I didn't invent the buckets. This bucket strategy's been around a long time. And it's not about budgeting. If you notice in my book, I don't really talk much about budgeting, but it's about control. We don't need to budget as much as we need to take control of the money we have so that you're properly allocating it to the things you should be allocating it to. All right, now if you have this is a free ebook. You don't have to die broke. You can get the hard copy. I send it directly from me to you. But in the opening chapters entitled The Money Flow, right here, you must pay yourself a minimum of 20 to 30% gross paid directly to you. And to be honest, if you really want to get rich, you got to push this even higher. And until you can do that, right here. Now, what happens for a lot of people is they get this shit out of order. You say, what do you mean? Sorry, we gotta go through. Meaning they want to buy this before they buy the assets that produce the cash flow. They want to start enjoying this too soon. So if you see, like I just saw a young couple over here. I don't know how old they are. Every day they spend renting, vacationing, doing this shit. The further they are from ever owning shit like this, because they're just a consumer. So that young couple is who I'm gonna rent my property to. And if you never transition from being an owner and you're always a user, a renter, a consumer, you're gonna find it very, very difficult in life to get rich. You have to get on the other side of the cash register. Getting on the other side of the cash register starts with a mentality of being an owner, and it starts with keeping your money. You have to keep your fucking money, which means you need to pay yourself first. And people hear that, but that is not what they do. I guarantee you, everyone watching this fucking video, the first thing you do is you go, what? First thing they do is take money, take the taxes, they take it out of your account. When you're a business owner, they don't do that. See, the tax system is set up to benefit the people that are working the system. It's not set up for the W-2. They take your money immediately. They don't do that for me when you own a business. And so there's multiple tax structures inside of America, but if you learn that and begin to use it to your advantage, then you can get ahead, and the quicker. So you want to be the guy renting these out. Now, what does that phrase mean? Getting on the other side of the cash register. It means in your mind, you need to become an owner. And it's not just an owner of things, but of things that appreciate and of things that produce cash flow. An example is something like this. Let's talk about that phrase that I just said about getting on the other side of the cash register. Now, what I mentioned about that young couple, I'm not saying don't go on a vacation, don't go have a good time. Shit, that's my customers out there, right? As an owner of assets that appreciate or produce cash flow, which is like these condos. What I'm saying is, be smart about it. You have to transform yourself and begin to see things differently. You have to begin to see things. The tax system, I mentioned that earlier, is rigged for business owners and asset owners. Meaning, this here, I get to deduct it, okay? My trip here to the beach is a tax deduction because I'm here working on business. When I buy a cell phone, it's a tax deduction. When you have a job and you buy a cell phone, it's just an expense that you just cost. When you buy internet to your home, it's an expense. When a business owner buys internet, it becomes a tax deduction. There are two different tax systems in America. One favors asset owners, one does not. Now, as we talk about the tax structure, and I'm obviously no tax accountant, but basically, there's only three ways in America to get rich. One, own a business. Two, invest in business. Three, own real estate. Basically, everything is wrapped up inside of one of those three. Now, if you have a W-2, that doesn't mean you can't get rich. It just means you need to understand the tax system and you need to begin to do things that are tax advantaged for you and your situation. If you're a W-2 earner, meaning you make your living at a job, they give you a W-2. How do you take advantage of the tax system? Well, basically you're down to two things. One, since you don't own a business, you need to invest in someone else's business. That is the stock market. If you're not investing in the stock market, and number two is real estate. So if you're not investing in real estate and you're not investing in the stock market, you will always live paycheck to paycheck. You will always be on the edge of bankruptcy. You will never get ahead. So think about it. Two simple things you can do. First thing you got to do if you're working at a business or a job, figure out which tax structure you're in. Okay, you got to get on the other side of the cash register, as I was saying. Meaning you got to be collecting rent. You got to be collecting interest. You've got to be receiving payments and stop making payments. Now you're always going to have payments. You're always going to pay insurance and taxes and buy food and things like that. But all of these things are things you can invest in. So basically everything that you spend your money on, let's go out here on the beach. Everything you spend your money on is someone else's passive income. So think about that. Meaning your car payment, that's somebody's passive income. Your rent, somebody's passive income. So you got to get structured so that you begin receiving some of that. So first figure out what tax are you in. Are you a business owner? Are you a W-2? Or if you're like me, I had a W-2 and I owned a business. You'll see in a lot of my teachings on the Millionaire Blueprint, that is the ultimate, for most average people, that's the path. Meaning you have some sort of job, you create some sort of side hustle that gives you access to the tax advantages of being a business owner. And you take those and you begin to structure your money and to spend your money and to allocate your money using the bucket system into assets that appreciate, assets that produce cash flow, and assets that mitigate your taxes. So a building like this could be tax-free. All of the money that you make from something like this becomes tax-free. This becomes a business for a guy who drives for UPS. You work at Walmart. If you save up the money to get the down payment, 20%, right? You want to have solid equity in the investment, maybe more. Now I paid cash for mine. I'll borrow it out later. People always talk about cash is trash. Whatever, man. You need cash. Cash is what allowed me to buy that. I saved it for like almost a year and a half so that I could pay cash. I flipped one house and I bought this. So a deal that I did 16 years ago gave me half the money. The other half I saved, I paid cash. This is going to produce 30, 40, maybe more thousand a year in gross revenue. It's going to put $2,000 to $3,000 a month cash flow into my pocket. Due to depreciation, that's going to be tax free. So what does that have to do with me having a job? Nothing. So my point being, if you have a job, you can own shit like this. If you're a business owner, you can own shit like this. And you will lose your job and your business will go out of business. So if your goal is to get rich or build generational wealth, you have got to begin getting the buckets right and allocating your money into assets that appreciate and produce cash flow. If your job offers a good 401k, you should spend some time reading on it. Read on the funds, read on what it is, spend some time, act like you care. Because a lot of times when I talk to people, they don't even know what funds, their 401k or their office, they've spent zero fucking time. They know more about the Kardashians than they understand their 401k, man. What is the match? What are the funds you're in? Spend some time. And if you do that, what you think about comes about. What you focus on grows. Man, I've been thinking on this for a long time. I've been focused on this for a long time. And it was a lot of different steps that got me to be able to do this. Now, this is just the beginning for me. I'm gonna buy fucking beach houses all over America. I'm gonna buy houses on lakes. Why? Airbnb has opened up for me and for you the possibility to own property across the country. So you guys sitting in New York, New Jersey, you can own property other places, but you gotta get your buckets right. You gotta get on the right side of the tax system, right? And you gotta get out of debt, man. That's it. I hope I can help you. If I can, let me know. If you don't have my free ebook, you don't have to die broke, go get it. My goal is to hopefully inspire people. You gotta motivate yourself, but I hope that I can inspire you to do big things, man, great things. God bless.